June, who is the assistant superintendent for Kanawha County Schools, just in passing had mentioned to me, we'd really like to develop something for preschool. I happened to be working on a few other things with Joe Murphy, who's the CEO of Murphy Media, in relationship to opioid prevention and education. And had mentioned to him, hey, what do you think about creating something that could be applicable to the pre-K environment?
Get to the older ones, sometimes they've already got this mindset of, bad habits, because they see what's around them, and you're unfortunately sometimes a product of your environment. And if we get to them early and they start learning good habits, the earlier the better.
Never imagined that within 4 or 5 weeks we would have a talking avatar that could interact with the children in real time, and we named him Rex the RX.
Have you been telling Mrs. Webb in her class all about, this?
Yeah.
What's up with this?
What's that?
What? Oh, that's pretty cool, huh? Don't you wish you had one? Mm-hmm. I'll bet Joshua wishes he had one. And what about Temperance? Hey, Temperance, do you have a hat?
Do you have a hat?
Blake.
He's not going to high-five you or give you a hug. He will interact with you, but the whole purpose of Rex is that we don't want the kids to keep Rex around.
Oh, guys. Bye.
This is the way, in my judgment, to reach them. They're used to being interactive, and they really don't respond to anything but that. So you've got to find a way to make that impression and make it last.
Hey guys, what do you think of my hat? You like it? Anybody here wear a hat?
I don't like it.
No?
The kids like Rex because he's also interactive, and he can communicate in the actual classroom, so you can say the kids' names, and that gets their attention immediately.
The response has just been amazing. The kids really relate to the avatar, so if they do have a prescription medication that they take, which a lot of kids do, we want them to use that medication properly, but we also want to ensure that they're not sharing medications. We know that we have an enormous amount of children living with grandparents, living in foster care. We know that grandparents, that age group, they're more likely to have multiple prescriptions where they probably shouldn't be, where they're much more accessible.
So it's a short program, but it's very effective, and Rex can talk to the kids, answer questions with the kids, and give them vital information.
Technology was used, it was very interactive, and the kids really seemed to enjoy it and learn a lot. I mean, medication is not something that we talk about a lot with kids at all because you don't know where to draw that line, but this made it very kid-friendly and interactive.
Do you know what that means? He's expired.
Hey, hold up a second there, Susan.
And so the message of don't keep Rex around is a real poignant one and real important, and something that a 4 or 5-year-old can kind of wrap their arms around and understand.
So we were really making a difference. We were reaching more schools and more counties and more kids than we ever had before with the medication safety message that Rex shared. And then in March of 2020, just like the rest of the world, the Rex program really came to a halt. So we were all working together and trying to figure out ways to get the program back online in any way, shape, or form. And then kind of hit the pause button and realized that now the message was even more important because you had all of these children who were at home with parents and grandparents who more than likely were not storing medications properly, and that made medication a lot more accessible and the message so much more important. We went back to the roots of Rex, which is innovation, and we found a way to scale the program by bringing Rex into homes remotely. And what that did was it opened everything up to a very unintended audience of parents and grandparents and caretakers who started to engage with us and their children about the importance of medication safety. We continue to believe that the message of medication safety is important, and that's for any medication. It doesn't have to be an opioid. We know that medications can be very dangerous if not taken by the person that they're prescribed. We also know that most children who overdose on a medication accidentally ingest that medication because it was not stored properly. We know that most people who become addicted to a medication do so because they obtain that medication either knowingly or unknowingly from a friend or relative. It's something that we really thought would delay or derail the program, and our message about medication safety really turned out to be something positive in terms of being able to reach more people with the message, because in the end it's really important that no one keeps Rex around. Drug Intervention Institute. We're super excited to be going live again this afternoon. I'm Dr. Susan Bissett, and I am the president of the West Virginia Drug Intervention Institute, and we're super happy to be here with a very special guest. We have Dr. Drew Massey, who is the Director of Pharmacy Operations for Fruth Pharmacy. So we're super happy to have Dr. Drew with us, and we also have our education director with the Institute, Miss Jessica. So she's here with us as well, and that's Jessica Napier-Eagle, and we're going to be talking about medication safety.
Yes,
and
our favorite topic.
Yeah, our favorite topic, and I think we're going to have a special guest join us. We do want to give a shout out to Lynne Fruth, who's a little under the weather today, and she sent Drew in her stead. So you've got some shoes to fill, Drew.
I do have some shoes to fill. I'll try to do my best.
But we're excited to have you here. And I know Jessica wants to dive in and start talking about medication safety and what we'll be doing with Fruth now and through the end of October.
Absolutely. Thank you, Susan. And welcome, Dr. Drew. It's so great to have you here today.
It's nice to be here.
So we just kind of want to go over some things that we are doing with Fruth Pharmacy and make sure that you guys are stopping in to your local Fruth Pharmacy store and picking up 2 things, all right? We have an activity sheet for the children, and this activity sheet is actually designed to help you talk with your child about medication safety. It's really not an age that's too young to talk about medication safety with your children, and really, I think this is a great way to do that too. If you flip it over to the back, Drew, on the very back we have some helpful tips for talking about medication safety with your child, and some of these are some of Rex's favorite things to talk about too, so we'll go over those a little bit more detail in a minute. But Fruth Pharmacy is also sponsoring a coloring contest, and these instructions are right here on the back underneath the medication safety tips. I have my own Vanna White today, guys. Isn't this awesome? So if you look at the picture right here, you can have your child ages 4 to 8 can participate in this contest. Just let them color it, create a Rex any way that they want to, and then you will simply snap a picture of it and send it to Fruth with the instructions on the back. And I am fogging up, sorry guys.
And if you go onto the Fruth Pharmacy Facebook page, there's actually some of these that are already colored in by some of the people who have gone to the stores and brought them back.
Oh, that is so awesome. We're going to have to check those out. I love to see how children create their own special Rex. So that's really cool. The other thing that is on this activity sheet, if you'll flip it one more time, is something that is very, very, very important. And that is when we are not using Rex or Rex is expired, we need to make sure that we are getting them out of the house. We don't keep Rex around, okay? So we developed a little maze to help Rex get to the trash can. So we always want to stress that only an adult throws away Rex when it's time to get rid of him. But this is just a fun little activity that you can talk about with your child to let them know how important it is to not use expired medication.
And we have something for the adults too. So at each Fruth Pharmacy location, we have free medication disposal kits. And so these are really easy to use, right, Dr. Drew? You want to talk about how they work for the folks at home?
Sure. Basically, the first thing that you need to do is get one. So go into the pharmacy. If they're not out on the counter, you can ask. We have these at all of our stores. And so if they don't have it out on the counter, make sure you ask. We're going to start putting them out on the counter, maybe with a display or something, so people can see them, because a lot of times people think, how much is that, or I have to pay for it, and they don't want to ask about it, but they're free. So basically the way that it's set up, you tear open the pouch, you fill the pouch halfway with warm water, and there's actually a substance that's a gel inside of here that activates to where when you put the medication in, it will take care of the medication. It'll bind it to where the medication is no longer usable. And so after that, you take care of it, and then you toss it in the trash, throw it away. And these are not reusable; they're one-time use. But if you get one and you use it and you need another one, come back and ask again. We'll have them in the pharmacy so that we can help take things out of your home.
And they'll dissolve up to 45 pills. So that's important to know. They'll also do a couple of patches as well as liquids. And again, retail, these are usually between $3 and $5 a piece, but they're free in all through pharmacies through the end of October. October is National Medication Safety Awareness Month, and we know that a lot of the ways that people unfortunately misuse medications is by sharing or finding prescriptions in a friend or a family's home or medicine cabinet. So this is a really great opportunity for you to kind of look through where you store your medications at home, see if there's something you're not using or that's expired, and take the opportunity to dispose of it in a safe way. So we appreciate that Fruth is helping us to get that message out.
Absolutely. And one thing that I realized growing up in West Virginia, and guys, I'm a coal miner's daughter, so I'm like true blue West Virginia girl here. One thing I noticed, at least in our house and our family's houses, we didn't like to get rid of medication because we didn't know when we were going to need it, for one. And two, medication be kind of expensive. So you don't want to have to buy it again if you don't have to. What are some of the craziest reasons you've heard, Dr. Drew, of people holding on to their medications?
Well, there are a lot of different reasons that people hold on to medicine. One of the things that I've always told people whenever they came to the pharmacy over the years is that you should at least go through your cabinet at least every 6 months and look to see if there's anything that needs to come out. I can tell you right now, and I'm going to be completely honest, our medicine cabinet at home, it's fairly organized. We have little boxes, so you have myself, my wife, my mother-in-law, and my son, and it's jam-packed because there's all kinds of things in there. And you'll go in there and it'll be like, the number one reason, I guess, is that, oh, do I want to keep this or do I want to get rid of it? Well, what if I need it later? Well, you know what? If you need it later, there's probably a reason that you need it. So you may want to go see the physician or go to urgent care, go wherever it is, because you may think that you're treating the same thing and you need a different medication, so it's not doing anything for you.
That's a very good point. Thank you.
One person actually kept it because they told me that they wanted to keep the bottles, because I might do something with the bottles later. I guess they were the DIY, or they were looking on Pinterest thinking I could use the bottles later. So that was probably one of the better ones that I've heard over the years that somebody's thought about.
They are great for storing quarters in some cases.
Well, the guys who keep them at the house with the crafts, fishing lures and putting different things into them. But I'm like, you don't have to have the pills for that.
Yep, you got to take the medicine out of the bottle.
You take your little purple pouch that you can pick up at Fruth for free through October. Put your pills in this, and you can use the bottles for whatever you want to use the bottles for.
Yeah, that's a great point.
That's a pretty easy one.
And we know that a lot of times when children unfortunately ingest something on accident, it's because they obtained something from mom, dad, aunt, uncle, older sibling, grandma, mama, papa. So it's really important that you think about that too, not just the medications for you, and not everybody stores them properly either. So we got to be careful about that too.
People love to put their medications in the bathroom or somewhere where they're near a sink. They have water, and it's not good for medicine most of the time because most things don't play well with water. They'll break down the tablets, or they'll turn into a mush at some point. So it's really not a good practice. Probably, if I had to tell you the craziest reason that people kept bottles, and it's not really crazy, is that they got a bottle that they just like the bottle. And pharmacies change bottles from time to time, and they happen to like the way the bottle worked. And a lot of times they don't put the same medicine back in the bottle because they just like that bottle. It's an easy pop, or it has a special kind of cap, or whatever. And that's just not a good deal. So keep your medicines in a dry place, out of the reach of kids.
And we also want to keep them in the original container, so there's no confusion about what that medication is.
Yeah, really important.
That is.
So Jessica, tell us a little bit about what else Rex would tell us about medication. He's got 3 things that he always shares with everybody. If he were here, what would he say?
If Rex were here today, Dr. Drew, he would be sure to tell you to keep the caps on your medication. We want to make sure that those lids are on tight, and also secure and up out of the way. But make sure you cap your medicine, right? The other thing Rex would like to tell you is to make sure that you know your medicine. You know, we want to make sure that nobody is sharing medications. So if your medication has your name on it, that's okay. But don't take any medication with somebody else's name on it.
I was going to say, one of the things that I think was a good point about that I really hadn't thought about when we started talking to you guys about this program is the fact that kids and children, even young kids, recognize their name.
Absolutely.
So that you can teach them, this is not yours, this is mine.
Yeah, and that's exactly what we've done in my home. We started when my daughter was 3. At that point, she could write her name and recognize her name, and now she writes her name kind of more crazy than she did at 3, but that's okay. She recognizes her name, and she also knows, like you said, you have boxes, we have shelves in our medicine cabinet that has sections for everybody's medication. Lately, I have put the medications up higher because I am afraid that she is going to climb that counter because she has growing pains. And she knows that if she has growing pains, she can get a Motrin or something. I don't want her to think that she can do that herself. So my medication is actually going up higher now to help prevent any kind of accidental ingestion there. So sometimes we got to think out of the box as parents and grandparents and guardians.
And one of the things that people need to realize and keep in mind is they say child safety caps. And in my experience, the child safety cap is to keep adults out. Kids are actually really good at opening things. So you know you have to be careful.
I feel that way about the lids to spaghetti sauce and all sorts of things as I get older.
Yes, absolutely. And the third thing that Rex always likes to share with people is something that we've already talked about. When you're done with Rex or Rex is expired, don't keep Rex around. Just get him out of the house. We know that we have these pouches available, but we'll also have National Drug Take Back Day coming up in October, and that's a great event too. So stay tuned for more information there because we may have a special location for that.
Yes, absolutely. We're very excited.
Yeah, I think that's Saturday, October 24th.
October 24th.
Absolutely.
Yep, absolutely.
Yay.
Hey there, Dr. Susan. So good to see you today.
Hi, Rex. How are you?
Yes, I thought we were supposed to have Lynne Fruth here today.
Well, Lynn's not feeling very well.
No. What's feeling a little under the weather? You think maybe I'm gonna go pay her a visit? Is that Dr. Drew? I thought it was gonna be Dr. Drew Pinsky.
No,
Who's this guy? No.
No. I do have a question for you, Rex. Where's your mask at?
Oh, this guy. Whatever. I came prepared. Yeah, smart guy. Yeah, Dr. Drew. So, Dr. Drew, can this man be taught, ladies? I mean, did you teach him a thing or two about?
I think he's actually a very good teacher.
Yeah, you think so, Dr. Drew?
He shared some very interesting things with us.
Like what?
Yeah, Rex. Like make sure you keep your medications in the original bottles.
Yeah,
That is
I mean, look at this bottle. This is a dad bottle. Yes, that's right. Drew knows what I'm talking about. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. So keep me in a safe place.
Yeah.
I like a warm, safe place. I prefer the tropics.
Actually, that's not where you
Okay.
belong. But.
So yeah. So keep me in a safe place. What else did he teach you?
Well, one of the big things is we want to make sure that we are keeping our caps on.
Oh goodness, yes, Kevin.
Is this the opposite of this one?
You know what? Just for the record, I don't know if you guys know this. I'm an inanimate object, so maybe I can take the mask off. No.
No, I think yeah.
Okay, I'll leave it on.
Sometimes you freeze, right?
No, I don't.
Freeze in the place.
It's cold. You freeze. You know what? So we're going to talk about capping me. That's fantastic. I mean, everybody's really smart. I get it. I have a cap on. I mean, that's a hard one. What else?
We want to make sure, Rex, that we are only taking medication that has our name
on
it. We have to know our medication.
No, Rex. It's
There you go singing again.
What?
No,
whatever.
No,
Whatever. Drew comes over and you guys act a little different. Okay, see how it is. Mm-hmm. Oh,
It's nice to
yeah.
have another man in the
Well,
office.
excuse me. Okay. I really did like it when Lynn was here a little bit.
She was just nice
Yes,
to
bye,
you.
Lynn. I'm coming to see you soon. I heard she had the sniffles, maybe. A little, how does she sound? Does she sound a little congested? No? No? A little. Last time it was pretty
I
nasty.
think we're just at a stage
Yeah.
where we want to be careful.
Okay,
If
I
you're
feel
feeling a
you.
little under weather, it's just
Stay
best to stay home.
I feel you. All right, so
Practice what we preach, right?
so we're gonna cap me and
Gonna know you.
to know me is to love me. So your name should
And you know
be on the
what,
bottom.
Rex? What happens when you're old?
Well, Dr. Susan knows.
Oh.
you know what I'm
Come on,
saying.
Rex.
You know where I'm going with that.
That's
Yeah.
not very nice.
To know me is to love me. So cap me, know me, and then
What happens
throw
when
me a
you-
birthday party.
We're not throwing you a birthday party.
We are going to put you in a nice little purple bag
In a
and
body
throw
bag.
you away.
In a body bag. This is
Yeah.
See, there are children watching this shoot. That is violent. All
So
right.
Rex, when you're old, it's time to go bye-bye. We
That-
don't
Hit
keep
the
Rex
road.
around.
You gotta
So
hit the road.
So what do you say?
You gotta leave, Rex. You're not supposed
this
to be
is getting
here.
a little old, Rex.
You're getting a little old.
Rex.
All right, I know when I'm not wanted.
Bye, Rex.
Oh.
Bye, Rex.
I had a feeling
I'll take that with me.
Yeah, I had a feeling you'd be stopping by.
I did
I was
too.
thinking we could talk about him because he's gone.
Yeah.
Oh, that's even
good.
better.
He's really obnoxious, that Rex.
Yeah. Sometimes that cap's a little too tight.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah. Well, we're very happy that you all joined us today. We hope that you will share with someone at home who's not watching the message about medication safety. Visit your pharmacist at a Fruth Pharmacy location.
Ask for a coloring book and ask for one of the medication disposal pouches. Tell them Drew sent you, and I think that they'll be nice to you, but that might or may not work out in your favor.
Well, your pharmacist also gives flu shots, so that's something else that can happen. That's important
Absolutely.
too. So it's a one-stop shop.
Absolutely.
So-
Flu season is in high demand.
Oh,
We just got
absolutely.
fresh vaccine in today. Got the note, so stop in the store and they'll be happy to take care of
Do
you.
your part.
Awesome.
That's
I
right.
can't wait to stop in and get mine. And just one reminder, guys, make sure that you are doing your collaring sheet and submitting that to Fruth so that your child ages 4 to 8 can get entered into that contest. I'm sure there's a lot of great prizes that you guys have set up for that. And then you can also check out their Facebook page and see if your child's entry has been posted there as well.
Absolutely.
So what do we need to do? There's 3 things we need to remind everybody of before we leave today. The first thing is
You gotta do it too.
cap
Cap
in,
in.
right? The second thing is to know your medication, and the third thing is throw it.
Dispose it, get rid
Dispose
of
of
it.
That's right. We're super excited that you joined us today. We want to thank everyone again. Feel free to check in with us on Facebook or on Bruce's Facebook page for more information about medication safety. Again, October is National Medication Safety Month, so we all need to do our part. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you soon.
Thanks, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Gentleman by the name of Bob Calhoun, who is the assistant superintendent for Kanawha County Schools, just in passing had mentioned to me, we'd really like to develop something for preschool. I happened to be working on a few other things with Joe Murphy, who's the CEO of Murphy Media, in relationship to opioid prevention and education. And had mentioned to him, hey, what do you think about creating something that could be
For almost 70
gentleman by the name of Bob Calhoun, who is the assistant superintendent for Kanawha County Schools, just in passing had mentioned to me, we'd really like to develop something for preschool. I happened to be working on a few other things with Joe Murphy, who's the CEO of Murphy Media, in relationship to opioid prevention and education. And had mentioned to him, hey, what do you think about creating something that could be applicable to the pre-K environment?
Get to the older ones, sometimes they've already got this mindset of, bad habits because they see what's around them, and you're unfortunately sometimes a product of your environment. And if we get to them early and they start learning good habits, the earlier the better.
Never imagined that within 4 or 5 weeks we would have a talking avatar that could interact with the children in real time, and we named him Rex the RX.
Have you been telling Mrs. Webb in her class all about, you know, this?
Yeah,
What's up with this?
What's that?
It's cat.
What? Oh, it's pretty cool, huh? Don't you wish you had one? Mm-hmm. I bet Joshua wishes he had one. Mm-hmm. And what about Temperance? Hey, Temperance, do you have a hat?
You said you have a hat.
Blake, Eddie, Blake.
He's not going to high-five you or give you a hug. He will interact with you, but the whole purpose of Rex is that we don't want the kids to keep Rex around.